tell us a little bit more about your mindset changes. What is kind of like the breakthrough moments for you? Like, if you have to kind of sum it up, the experience that was most profounding for you. You feel like, wow, like, it changed how I think about things, and it puts me on a trajectory that is a lot more accelerated than I was before.
I think it's probably the first multifamily conference that I went to. Then I realized, okay, this is awesome. And then I read a bunch of books on the plane on the way home and got an insane amount of inspiration. So I always recommend always go to conferences in your trade or whatever you want to do, because they will give you so much inspiration that you can, like, you'll have the best weeks. Like, I always have my best week right when I get back from a conference. We get the most done. Like, we get the best work done. Like, everything about it's better. And I have a lot of, I guess I just have a lot of good energy. So the first conference I went to, and then I started reading about the basically growth mindsets and different stuff. But talking about you're talking about how to prepare your kids. You should read Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck, and it tells you how not to talk to your kids if you actually care about them having a growth mindset.
Oh, that's super valuable.
Because most people don't even understand, like, when they're praising their kid for being gorgeous or talented, they're actually doing them a disservice. You got to praise them in different ways.
Right. So that more stuff that they can change, like efforts, like amount of effort.
Because everything is actually changeable. Everything is. So once you start realizing you can make any change you want to, and they seem to work out more than people think. When most people change their career, they usually do just fine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you for the tips over there. Actually, you kind of help us to kind of transition into some of the topics later on. We have is the books that you recommend, the single books you recommend, and etc. But kind of going back to here now, kind of what's next? You thinking about continue doing your design firm and continue grow it? Tell us your operation, how many employees you have now.
I basically just have employees that work close to me. So I pretty much just delegate. So if I got more employees, they would just be more personal. I'm not looking to build a big business and systemize it. So I'm not really looking to do that. I'm more looking to work solely for the deals that I am on, I guess. Hopefully we have enough deals going on that's all we need. Cause I'd really want to transition to an investor and I want to worry about less stuff and not more stuff. So
it sounds like you're pivoting
to more passive.
You another pivot moment. So your long-term goal is kind of not having the design firm, I'm guessing, and then kind of moving all the stuff into passive.
Like long-term, like within 10 years, I don't want to have to rely on any income coming in from anywhere except for my investments. That way I can do exactly what I want. So if I want to help someone with the design, I'll do that. But I don't ever have to,
Dusten, do you want to show us basically kind of the projects that you're currently working on? He's currently on site on the 30-unit projects that he's working on.
Yeah, you want me to bring you through the unit?
Yeah, let's go. Right. Do it. Yeah, it's on recording. And then you can just narrate. Yeah.
So this is the walkway. This is Dwayne, my trusty plumber. Hi. He's been with me for years, 20 years almost.
Hi, Dwayne.
So that's the entrance. It's kind of urban feeling. This is the hallway. We got 4 units here. And these are all
30
studios.
Units.
So you got your bathroom that has laundry in it, and then you got a bedroom, wardrobe, all that. Then this is living room and kitchen. We pretty much eliminated the dining room. And then this is your shared patio space right on downtown.
Beautiful.
And then, there's basically 18 of these units over 2 stories. And then there's 2 2-bedrooms. This is a 20 unit and it's got 6,000 feet of commercial space down low. So
Nice.
So yeah, it's that's yeah, it's pretty this one's pretty neat because of the way it was built. It was really complicated. But this thing should be leased up about May 2020, I believe. And we have the tenants going into the main floor as well. And then this is the underground, or the not underground parking, but it's covered parking. And then this will basically be, I don't know if you can even see it, pretty dark in here. But this whole area is going to be a big shop, a big area for all these small boutiques to feed off of one another. It's kind of like an incubator for businesses. So I also like to support people that want to do their own business as well. And this is kind of our way of giving back, is that we use this space and we're going to create a food incubator on that side and then more of a boutique business incubator on this side. So
great.
So that's it. That's what we're looking at.
Great. And then do we want to kind of take a look at the outside, so kind of get the idea about the building? Yeah.
You want to look at the back, the alley side, or you want to look at the
no, just what you had before, where you're like, hey, this is the building. You know, it's from the larger to small walking. I think we're going to transition that.
So here it is. So this is, so you can kind of see that, how it's just floating on top of that structure. And then, can you see that still?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, you can see that whole piece is what we're building out, and then we're renovating the whole bottom. So keeping all the historic, this is like another historical society project, an adaptive reuse, where we have to keep the whole front of the facade. Then we ended up saying, hey, we can keep these walls too. So all the walls, ceiling, the ceiling on the one side's original, and then the floor is all original too. So when you walk in the main floor, it still feels like an old building, except for you got a new building on top. So
yeah, that's awesome. What is your next year goal? What is your kind of like, we talked about your ultimate goal. Yeah. How do you get there? Yeah.
So my next year's goal is, I've got into 6 deals this year. Deals, or co-GP, LP, KP, whatever you want to call them. Well, there's a couple of each. I think I got into 3 strictly LP and 3 GP, KP, whatever. But I want to raise at least $1 million on just one of the projects. So that's my goal, because I haven't raised that much money on one project yet. I've raised that much money over the course of the year or so, but not done one project. So that's my goal, is to do that.
Great, awesome. Okay, so that's the long-term goal and the short-term goal. This is great. I think thank you so much for sharing time with me. Now we'll kind of get into some of the standard questions we have. What is some of the books? Give me a single book that kind of changed your outlook when you're transitioning from a business owner to an investor.
So everybody, from a business owner to investor, Think and Grow Rich. Everyone says that one though, but that one was one of the first ones I read. And just to make you understand that you need to, every single thing you think matters. Like every thought you have matters. It's like food, right? Every single piece of food you put in your body matters. Same with thoughts. If you put in positive, you're going to get positive. You put in negative, you're going to get negative. So eliminate all those negative thoughts. I don't know, maybe that's not really Think and Grow Rich, but Think and Grow Rich was awesome. I loved Brain Rules though. So Brain Rules is a book that I recommend that most people don't. It's John Medina. And it basically is, it's the science behind how you're able to change the way you think. So people think, oh, this is just a fixed trait, I can't do anything about it. Well, it's only because you don't try it. And once you start trying, your brain is changeable until you're in the dirt. So your brain changes the entire time, and it's capable to change through your whole life. But he explains the science behind it. So it's neat to have, not just the frou-frou stuff, but why it actually works. And then I really like Meditations. That book had the most impact on a purely positive mood and taking full responsibility for everything around you. Meditations of Mark. I think it's of Marcus Aurelius. It's one of the latest renditions, though. There's a whole bunch of translations of that, and the one that I got was one of the higher recommended, most recent
rendition. Okay.
interpretations. But that basically just tells you what a Stoic mindset is. And you should be in a Stoic mindset for all your business decisions. You should never make a decision too high or too low. So if you are low or if you are super high, you should shelve that decision and come back when you're in a regular mind state. But that book is really, really powerful as far as accepting everything around you and just being fine with it, how it is. And then that just, it's easy to maintain a really positive perspective when nothing is really that guy's fault. Of course that guy's gonna be like that because that is who he is. Like, no big deal.
Right.
Move on.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah. So that is very interesting. Thank you for these recommendations. Actually, some of these I have read, and some of them I'm gonna add it to my new reading list. So this is always the fun part. Now, and then you mentioned about the mindset part. Now, going back to what is your daily routine like? What part of your routine that was instrumental to help you start a day off, for example, in a positive kind of mindset?
For me, it's journaling. I've done meditation and I read as well. I've worked out. I've done pretty much most routines, not everything, because I know there's a lot of fringe stuff, but most of the things I've done, in journaling for me is by far the most powerful.
And how do you do that? Give us maybe a little sneak peek into how do you do it, and then at what hours during the day, what routine that looks like.
I basically get up. I just get up whenever I get up, but my body usually wakes up at 7. But I'm a firm believer that sleep's the most important. So if you're behind on 2 hours of sleep, you're going to be way better off getting those 2 hours and then just doing a better job at work. So you're better off being late and being a good worker than being there on time and being a sucky worker and a drag on everybody. So I usually get up at about 7, sometimes 6, and then I go and I drink water, and preferably mineral water, but I don't always do it. I just usually drink regular water, but you should drink your water with salt and lemon. It's a little bit better. And then I go sit. I get the coffee going. Then I go sit down in my chair and I start journaling, and I just write the wins that I had the day before to just reinforce what was good and just a win at work. Not just what was good, but it could be even any type of win: personal wins, work wins, spiritual wins, whatever your win was, and then financial win, however it was. And then after that, I do goals. There's usually only about 5 wins a day, usually is what I try to get. Then goals, and I try to do my daily goals every day, and then weekly goals once a week, monthly goals once a month, along with yearly goals. That's something that I've just put in. And then if you do once a year, you'd probably do a 5 and a 10-year goal as well. And then I do what I'm grateful for after that. And sometimes it depends on how you're feeling, but if something's not right, I just continue to write for a while, and usually it comes out. So there's something about writing your thoughts down on paper. You can analyze them better. And I've gained a lot of self-awareness. I mean, a lot more. I'm not saying that I'm self-aware, but a lot more self-aware than I used to be. And most of it comes from journaling, and I'm actually able to communicate with my wife way better now too. So that's very important, because family is totally an element to that. And I forgot to ask, what is your big why? What is the eventual kind of like a be all to all? I know it always pivots. Mine, it's just to spread joy. Mine is to spread joy. So I know that if I can come in and make that office better, it's going to make a better day for everyone working in that office. So it makes me happy to be able to improve their situation a little bit. Right.
And then
so that's my main is to spread joy, because I feel like being kind is huge. And it makes your life way better when you're kind.
Got it. That's very powerful. So like, and then the way to kind of shifting into investor. Now, what is the why behind that?
Oh, because you can be a way better person when you don't have the burden of constantly having to create income. So
Right,
if you have to trade 40 hours every week till you're gone, well, that sucks. You know, like
right,
after, when you're 20, 30, it's fine. Working's not that hard. It's actually very easy to work
right,
50, 60, 70 hours. But once you start hitting 40, it's just not as fun anymore.
right,
To
right,
just constantly have to work. That's what I've realized, that I like not having to, if like, there's just not that many emergencies. The more passive income you have, the less emergencies you have.
right.
So, and you just
Yeah.
can control your schedule more, I guess, just more control.
Yeah, yeah, got it. So kind of even owning your own business, there's still quite a bit firefighting, like me owning my
Oh
own business too, that I
yeah.
noticed that there's a lot of firefighting. So it's very important to, when you transition, you mentioned about passive investing to deals, right? Like set up the investment. So the continued effort is going to be more passive versus, become a active operator. So essentially you just kind of trade for another active job. So there is definitely a distinguishing over there. Yeah. So what would you do if you reach that, hey, my income, I never have to worry about anything? And then what is that like? Is there a number that you like to share? You don't mind share with us. And then like once you reach that, I'm sure you're gonna pivot again. What do you kind of envision that life look like?
Yeah, I don't know, because guaranteed there's going to be a goal after that. I'm sure once I get financial free, I'll do something dumb because I'll be bored and I'll commit to some huge project. But
Yeah.
that's fine. As long as I
Yeah.
like it, then, not a big deal. But I had a number I wanted to have 15,000 a month
Uh-huh.
purely in passive, but in real estate, so it's basically tax free as well. So,
Right.
that's a huge number. And that's
Yeah.
just that's not like my only goal, but that's just kind of the goal I shot for, to be able to easily survive. I mean, I'd still, I don't want to own a private jet, or I actually don't think I would do at the moment, but I sure want to fly on one sometime. So I'd like to
Yeah.
be able to throw away 50 grand on a private jet here or there, something like that. So,
Yeah.
but 15,000 a month is you can live really, really nicely on it.
Yeah.
And then as long as your investments are still growing, I guess that's good. But
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of what we noticed, that once you invest, you start reaching that snowball effect, and you kind of get checks left and right, you know.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
it's true.
definitely a, yeah,
It's true.
yeah,
I started a little over a year ago, and I think we have four. After this month, we'll have four checks coming in. One of the projects, or few of the projects aren't cash flowing.
yeah,
More of the local projects I invest in, they take a while to cash flow. These
yeah,
syndication deals are way better.
yeah,
So I'm already getting checks, and I've just started investing in the LP deals just over a year ago. So
great,
it's
yeah,
definitely a snowball.
but to kind of touch on that, it's like you kind of build the wealth with your business, and then you kind of get into the position. It's like you probably make more than what your goal were out of your a non W-2 job, your business essentially that you build, but just kind of slowly transition that into a more passive role where your money is working for you versus you're working for the money.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, yeah, great, awesome. Well, I think thank you so much for the time today. I think this kind of concluded, our interview here. It's very fascinating to kind of see how adapt to all these dynamic moves and be able to kind of pivot over there. Thank you so much, Justin, for this interview. And we really look forward, for these new design to kind of come in fruition on the buildings that we have. Thank you so much for your help and also this interview. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.